So, you're thinking about opening your heart and your home to a child. First of all, that's amazing. It's a huge, incredible step. But, before a child can walk through that door, the house itself has to be ready. This explainer is all about demystifying that process. We're going to help you turn what can feel like a really stressful inspection into a manageable project you can be proud of.
Because that's the real mission here, isn't it? It's not just about passing some test. It's about turning your house into a true haven. We're going to look at this whole preparation as the very first step in building a safe, warm, welcoming space where a kid can finally just breathe, where they can heal and start to thrive.
Okay, first, let's get the language right, because it matters. A lot of people hear home inspection and they immediately tense up, right? But the official term is actually mutual home assessment. And that word, mutual, is everything. This is a team effort. It's a partnership between you and the licensing agency. You both have the exact same goal, making sure your home is a safe and nurturing place. They're on your side.
Every good project needs a blueprint, and here's ours. First, we're going to cover the big picture safety rules, the foundation that applies to the whole house. Then we'll do a room-by-room walkthrough, almost like a checklist you can follow. And finally, we'll zoom out and talk about what all of this really means, how we go from just a house to a real home.
Okay, let's start with that foundation. These are the absolute non-negotiables. Think of these as the universal safety rules that create a baseline of security for any child, no matter their age or background. These are the must-haves.
Fire safety is, of course, a huge one. So let's just make it a simple three-step check. Number 1, all your exits and the paths to them, hallways, doorways, stairs, have to be completely clear. No clutter, nothing to trip over in an emergency. Number 2, you've got to have working smoke alarms, and you need to test them. And third, you need an evacuation plan and a list of emergency numbers posted somewhere obvious, like right on the refrigerator so anybody can see it in a panic.
Next up, carbon monoxide. This one's pretty straightforward. If your home uses fuel oil, coal, wood, or gas for anything, your furnace, your stove, your water heater, you absolutely must have at least one working CO detector. It's a simple little device that literally saves lives. No excuses on this one. And speaking of must-haves, your home also needs at least one fire extinguisher. And here's the key part. It can't just be stuffed in a closet or under the sink. It has to be properly mounted in a spot where it's visible and easy to grab in a hurry. Again, not just a nice idea, it's a requirement.
All right, foundation is laid. Now for the fun part. We're going to take a tour of your home just like an assessor would. We'll go area by area and give you a clear checklist for each space so you know exactly what to look for.
And you might be surprised where we start. Not in the living room, but outside. The safety and condition of your home's yard and exterior is actually the very first impression, and it's something the agency will definitely be looking at.
So, what's on the checklist for the great outdoors? Well, first, just that the yard is generally taken care of and free of obvious dangers. Broken glass, rusty equipment, that kind of thing. If you've got pets, you'll need to show proof that they're up to date on their rabies vaccine. And this is a huge one. If you have a swimming pool, it has to be surrounded by a fence that's at least 4 feet high, and that includes those bigger, above-ground pools if they're up for more than a day. If you live near a pond or a lake, you'll need to have a specific water safety plan worked out.
Okay, let's head inside. Now we're looking at the common spaces. The kitchen, the living room, the playroom, basically anywhere the family's going to be hanging out together.
The big things in here are good repair and safety. Is the furniture sturdy? No wobbly chairs or tables with sharp broken edges. In the kitchen, are things like knives and peelers stored safely where little hands can't get to them? And this is critical. Are all your cleaning supplies and any other dangerous chemicals locked up or secured? Beyond that, the standard is pretty simple. The rooms just need to be clean and sanitary. And now we come to what is, I would argue, the most important physical space for a child in foster care, their own room. This needs to be their sanctuary, their private space, and the rules around it are very specific for a reason.
So number 1, non-negotiable, every child gets their own bed. And it has to be a proper bed. A futon, an air mattress, a pull-out couch, those don't count. The room itself can't be a hallway to get to another part of the house. It needs to be its own space. Of course, the room and the bedding have to be clean. And finally, each child needs their own space for their stuff, their own drawer, their own little section of the closet.
Now, what if kids are going to be sharing a room? There are a few extra rules to keep in mind. You can't have more than 4 kids in one bedroom. Generally, they have to be the same gender unless they're all under the age of 5.
And this last one is important. Unless they're siblings, a child under 6 can't share a room with a child over 12. And that's really just to protect the younger child and make sure there isn't a big power imbalance.
This quote, it's actually from the official licensing standards, and it just gets right to the heart of why all this matters so much. You have to remember, for a child coming into your home, the few things they own might be the only connection they have left to their family, to their past. Giving them a safe place for those things, well, that's a huge act of respect and love.
So we've gone through all the checklists, the rules, the requirements, but this whole project, it's about so much more than just passing an inspection. Let's talk about the real goal here, the finishing touches.
You know, anyone can have a house. A house is just walls, rooms, furniture, a roof. It's a structure. But a haven is different. A haven provides safety that you can feel, not just see on a checklist. It provides privacy. It provides a deep sense of welcome. And most of all, it provides stability for a child whose world has been anything but. Our goal is to make that leap from just being a house to becoming a true haven.
So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. Every cabinet you lock, every smoke detector you test, every clean sheet you put on a bed, those aren't just chores. They are the very first physical, tangible ways you show a child you are safe here, you matter here. This is where your promise of love and stability starts to become real.
And that leaves us with one last really important question to think about. When all the work is done, when your home is finally ready, I want you to stand at your front door for a minute and just imagine a child walking through it for the very first time. What will they feel? Because the goal of this entire project is that they feel, maybe for the first time in a very long time, that they are safe, that they are welcome, and that they are finally home.